My name is James, and welcome to the Millennium Money Book podcast. This is the platform where we have authentic conversation about how you can take advantage of the opportunities existing in your world in the digital space to grow.
If you are doing one thing and it's good and
You
you are getting results, why do you have to change? There's a saying that we don't change the winning team.
Exactly.
So if I'm winning in this field, what is stopping me from not continuing what I'm doing?
If you're a graphic designer or if you are an art student, you don't have to look down upon yourself
Never look down
because
I mean,
at the end of the day, you are learning a skill that you can put to use and earn the coins.
and I mean, everybody needs you.
And I'm just wondering how that young creative guy can just stop that, go online, discover some in-demand skills that can change his life in the next few days.
I know the journey is not going to be easy for you, but you can do this. So never allow anybody to look down on you. Get the mindset that you'll be successful in this field. No matter what he will say. If I'm not getting it today, I know I am building an empire for myself. I'm building the skills that will be needed by the world in the next 5-10 years.
How Joseph, moved from a slave boy from prison to become the prime minister of Egypt. It wasn't just because of anything. It was just because he was useful and valuable.
Yeah.
And the good news is that, look, you don't need to go to the university to go and master this creative skills that we're talking about. There's a guy on YouTube who has shot a whole video teaching you from how to start to the end, who has been doing it for over 20 years. And he has a video on that for free. So all you have to do, if you discover the skill, you jump on YouTube or you go to YouTube and search how to learn skill.
You cannot grow without not knowing your value.
Yeah.
And that value will come from you knowing who you are,
Yeah.
what you can do, what you can add to people's life. And people don't actually exchange money for anything. They exchange money for value.
No value.
And value is by skill.
Yeah.
And so if you can't offer any skill to anybody, how then do you get money?
Please note that there are many opportunities out there existing on the internet today. If only you stop scrolling and you just exclude yourself from all of this noise and stop blaming the government and everybody around you and dedicate yourself 30 minutes a day, 1 hour a day to just learn something, I believe and we believe that you will rise up to change your life and change the life of other people. My name is James, and welcome to the Millennium Money Book podcast. This is the platform where we have authentic conversation about how you can take advantage of the opportunities existing in your world in the digital space to grow. In today's conversation, we're going to talk about the opportunities in the digital world, how you can fix your mindset and take advantage of that. How can you get started? And all the questions that you may need to answer to take advantage of the digital world. So, on the show with me today is my co-host, Philip. Philip, welcome.
Thank you.
This is our journey of telling you about how you too can tap into that. So Philip, just to loop you into the conversation, why don't you start off by telling me about a little bit basically about who you are and what has brought you here?
Thank you very much for the question. My name is Philip Opukwajiman. That is the full name. But most people do call me Philip.
Yeah.
I'm a graphic designer.
Yeah.
And I've been in the industry for about 8 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, since 2014, 15, 16 kind. I've been doing design works.
All right. So thank you, Philip, for that quick introduction. But I guess let me also introduce myself because let me also say a bit about myself. So
No, let me rather introduce you.
so
Who are you?
oh, very interesting. So my full name is James Kenneth. I would call myself a creative person because I happen to find myself in this digital world. That means that I need to learn certain valuable skills that will make me useful wherever that I find myself. Yeah, so basically that is who I am. But to keep that conversation going, Philip, I want to ask you this question about generally what has been, the motivating factor? What drove you to begin to, as you were describing yourself, you describe yourself as a very multi-skilled and you have many components out of you. What is the inspiration and what drove you to really put yourself in that space?
When I was a child, I mean, I grew up with my dad. I always eat with my father, and my father would tell you, Charlie, "Usua de aye, usua o.
Mm-hmm.
Usua so asua baby esika o." When he said that, I mean, I was a very sharp student. Everybody wanted me to be a science student, and so.
Yeah.
But when I went to SHS, I saw that Charlie, there is money in visual arts.
Yeah.
Because I saw some of my seniors, they were making money in school.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whilst we were in school, the science students will be in the class always learning, and these guys will be on the field doing some small paintings.
Yeah.
And when they are doing the paintings, they are getting some small
money.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
said, Charlie, my mom want me to do science. I'll never do science.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to continue my visual arts.
Yeah.
And so, and it helped me. I mean, I chopped some small money there in SHS. So, I mean, when I saw the money, I kind of said, if there is money here, let me continue being in this field. I mean, if you are doing one thing and it's good and you are getting results, why do you have to change?
Yes.
There's a saying that we don't change the winning team.
Exactly.
And so if I'm winning in this field, what is stopping me from not continuing what I'm doing, but rather trying to change based on the perception of others that, I mean, back in the days, if you were a visual student, I mean, the stigmatization.
I mean, it hasn't necessarily changed. For example, let's look at how the National Science and Maths Quiz is celebrated. I love the idea that, we have to push STEM, which completely is very fine because a bit of learning, computer science and programming all fall within the STEM space. But we sometimes neglect and look down upon the people that are, the arts, the ability to draw, engineer, like what you're saying. So I'm just saying that it has not changed, not necessarily because we haven't really seen any form of program in Ghana to elevate that group of people who are really skilled and we all look at things.
And the funny thing is that you see back in SHS, when there is a program for these STEM debates, do you know what is the funny? They will come to our class and then call the visual arts students to go out there and arrange chairs for the science students to come and sit on.
So you can imagine.
And so it means that they are not putting any value on what we are
learning. What you do.
And so it's just from the ground zero, you are nobody.
Yeah. I think it's very sad. And, I came from the business world, but back in Tamale Senior, our class were a bit closer to the visual arts and they were doing sculptures and stuff like that. I haven't been to any of the SHS yet, but having experienced it, I just feel that it hasn't really changed much.
It doesn't.
It would still be the look down on, these virtual people. You are carrying your drawing board everywhere. But
we are always dirty.
I think that, the creative space, and for me, I love the way design controls our world, being able to carry message to people in this modern day digital environment. Even if you look around you, design is what describe our world, and everything we see around us is a certain form of design.
Yeah.
The road we drive on is design. The architectural drawings, architectural buildings, that these amazing landmarks and everything is all about design. And if you look at people who reach a certain stage in life and they make it, you enter into their living place and you see all forms of art and sculptures. Enter a 5-star hotel. The first experience is going to be a certain form of art and design and a certain presentation of the atmosphere that make you feel like you are a VIP or you are at a luxury place.
Yeah.
So if they use all these elements of design to communicate luxury, prestige, honor, why are they looking down upon it at the place where they're supposed to be elevating it? And I think that is what some of the conversation like this that we need to bring the people in that space. That look, if you're if you're a graphic designer, or if you are an art student, or you don't have to look down upon yourself.
Never look down on
Because
yourself. I mean,
at the end of the day, you are learning a skill that you can put to use and earn the coins
and I mean, everybody needs you.
Yeah.
The president needs you. The current president, John Dramani Mahama,
Yeah.
he needs a video editor.
Yes.
He needs a graphic designer.
Yeah.
He works with a photographer.
Yeah.
Interior decor.
Mhm.
He everything he's wearing, a fashion designer. Even the one that is cutting his hair is a designer.
Yeah.
Because if you are not good, you will give Dramani Mahama a certain style,
Very bad look.
and then the whole world will collapse. So
Yeah.
the embodiment of even the president himself is
It's a
complete
design.
because of an element of design.
Exactly.
And so why do you want to, I mean, look down upon yourself and say, hey, I'm a graphic designer, I'm a visual student, or I'm an architect, and for that matter, the science students are going, the business guys are going, I don't know. Join them, join the class.
That's why I'm talking about mindset. I think it is the way in a typical, SHS, or even in a university environment, the school itself is very biased towards people that are learning those kind of skills. Like the way you mentioned, the way they will celebrate, the science students, and then if it's national science and math quiz everywhere, it's like it's everywhere and everybody must look. And the truth is that, well, like I said,
let me shape this. When we are doing the science and math quiz, the visual students will be doing the jama at the back. It means that we are now.
So I think that what we are really trying to say is that, look, if you happen to find yourself in the creative space, I think maybe we would have to define what the creative space is. I think in my basic understanding, it's anything that allows you to use a certain form of creativity to create something out of nothing. Because if you are designing, let's say, a flyer, you are using design tools to create something out of nothing, to communicate something. I think that's all what we do.
And design always starts with a blank space.
Yeah, and you know that the truth is that this, that is a confession that some of the watchers have said about this national science and high school, is that look, the kids are just going to do baba and
You just
come
can't
and
pour it.
pour the answer.
Yeah.
Because we should see those things in the how many practical solutions are. Science is great, science is amazing, and I think Ghana, we need that. But then the nature of the national science and maths, and that's not to say we are bashing the national science and maths.
No, nobody is doing
I
that.
fully support
We
it.
support it.
It's
We
amazing.
support it.
We are just
You guys should continue doing it.
yeah, we're just trying to say that please don't look down upon the creative guys who may not be able to give you some formulas in chemistry, or may not be able to quote all the laws, in physics, but they are a great sector of the economy. And I think this is what our conversation really centered about. Those young guys out there who have some talent and they need to put it out there. You don't have to feel inferior because you cannot do elective maths. As far as you know how to add, how to subtract, you are good to go. I think I saw the story of the gentleman that did the attack for the president for the inauguration. He shared his story on LinkedIn, and immediately I saw the president come on stage. The thing that ran through my mind is that how handsome the president is looking, and the gentleman or whoever designed this for him is a great guy. Because I was like, wow.
Yeah. It was very nice.
It was very nice, and it's out of design. But maybe the guy on the street learning, fashion design, maybe look down upon versus the guy who is doing baba and chewing elective maths. And then they are not creating anything. They are not creating anything. Don't discount the people who are in the visual arts or who are the graphic designers or who are doing the sculptures. Today we can remember Dr. Kwame Nkrumah because somebody have to, do his, I don't know the technical name for it, but somebody have to mold him and do his statue so that we can see. Look at the guy that did the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park. A very great design and architecture.
And these guys give us history. I mean,
Exactly.
Back to what you were saying, the presidents. Now, it was through a fashion designer who designed the clothes.
Yeah.
Now, before anybody saw that design, it was a photographer who brought it out.
Yeah.
Now, before that product came out, it was a social media marketer who then posted that video, that photo.
I mean, let me just add that the whole, apart from the people that were actually in person at that event, how the whole world saw it was a certain production crew who were operating cameras and others were doing live streaming. And it was all telecasted on TV. So these were all the creative guys behind the scenes who were making that ceremony very lively. And also, let me go a bit because I understand event management. The whole setup, the whole event, all the way from planning to inviting guests to the sitting arrangement to the decor to the running order of the event and everything was also orchestrated by some design guys.
Yeah.
And maybe as time goes, I'll try and get the name of the team that put together. But if they happen to come across this video, they should just let us know. Fabio, let's talk about mindset. I think everything that we are trying to do here is we're trying to understand mindset. So what kind of mindset did you have that despite all this sort of discouragement and people probably thinking that being a visual arts student and it never bothered you, but you kept on, and today you're a testament of what a typical visual a designer can be. What was the mindset that kept you going?
I was lucky because back in the days, one of my tutors, I mean, Madam Victoria, I mean, kudos, Madam, I salute. She was one of the teachers in Interpersonal High School, greatest. She saw me and she said that this guy is very talented. I mean, why is she not going to science class but rather in visual arts? She came to me and said, Philip, you can do this.
Yeah.
I know the journey is not going to be easy for you, but you can do this. So never allow anybody to look down on you.
Yeah.
Get the mindset that you will be prosperous, you'll be successful in this field. One way or the other, with or without it, you are going to be successful.
Yeah.
And so I kept this advice with me every day that no matter what you will say, if I'm not getting it today, I know I am building an empire for myself. I'm building the skills that will be needed by the world in the next 5-10 years.
Yes.
And so if I'm learning this skill set, I'm not going to say I'm not benefiting today, and so I'll stop learning this.
Yeah.
I know that the next 5 years, the next 10 years, this skills is going to be in demand by the world. And so if that time comes, that is my time.
You will be in the right position.
This is the right time. I mean, back in 2008, this days, I mean, obviously, visual for Mabon, who. I mean, but those guys who were doing visual and took it serious, right now, they are now in the game. They are making big money.
Yeah.
And I'm making my small coins. At least I'm not dependent on the government. I mean, government in the ground they take tax.
That's that. So the economy is being run by your creative view. So just to add to the concept of mindset. So I think that since we're on the topic of taking advantage of your environment and the digital space, one of the things that I believe really limits people is the fact that, like you have mentioned about certain discouragement that will come, but I personally believe that is the lack of awareness. I've come to discover that on the average, most people do not seek information and they are too comfortable within their space that just spending a few minutes to just check what is out there, they don't. And they may even do, but then the focus will be on some, let me put it in quotes, numfa. It will not be any serious subject matter, right? So I know a lot of people love football, and football is featured in almost all the newspaper review in the morning, across TV, across radio. I mean, everywhere football is spoken about. I love football, but I don't love football like the way people would die and go and watch football everywhere. Follow football, right? But the only question that sometimes I ask myself, and I saw this thing from my SHS days, when you see two of my colleagues will be arguing, Chelsea said this and Messi is this and that, and I'm like, all this energy that you're wasting. The guy goes on the pitch, he get paid, and I mean thousands and millions of pounds or dollars every week or what have you, and he's earning. You are nowhere close to his family, you are nowhere close to his friend, and you are spending all your productive time basically discussing who is a goat. And I'm just wondering how that young creative guy can just stop that, go online, discover some in-demand skills that can change his life in the next few days, and just spend some time learning about. He would spend 90 plus hours, watch a full football game. Football is good, all right. There are some that are able to combine it well. The person would use football to release stress, then go and do something productive. I mean, and the person will complain that
you are not even a sports journalist.
You are not a sports journalist. So I find that to be one of the mindset shift that is needed. Instead of wasting time discussing unproductive things, football is good as sort of entertainment. But Charlie, the guys who are making their money, I mean, you are nowhere near. Like, but then you waste all your time discussing. So I feel like for me, that awareness is understanding that, hey, there are certain set of skills, there are certain set of job titles that nobody's going to ask you what university did you attend, what master's program do you have, and which family are you coming from. All that the person, all that your employer, whoever will want to work with you, is going to ask you is that I want this thing done.
Can you
make it happen? And you don't have to send a CV and say that, yeah, I worked it. No, you just, okay, tell me what is it that you want to be done. Okay, I want a website that allow people to click and submit their emails. Okay, give me a few minutes. You just sit there and design it, and instantly you gain a certain form of credibility. So, I mean, I think that is where I want the next person listening to us to come to that, seek out, the information that is out there.
Know what is trending in this ecosystem. Know that there are certain kind of things that you can do and find your freedom in it. To talk of financial freedom, I mean, because when you become aware of a certain skill that will be in demand, and then after learning that skill, you'll be able to get some small coins from it. That alone then brings you back to now begin to understand your life, and know what to do to improve your life. I mean, you cannot grow without not knowing your value, and that value will come from you knowing who you are, what you can do, what you can add to people's life. And people don't actually exchange money for anything. They exchange money for value. And value is by skill. And so if you can't offer any skill to anybody, how then do you get money? Or how then do you even have a financial freedom? How then do you even develop yourself as a youth? And so the basic thing, as you rightly said, is for you to be able to come to a point that, hey, I want to move from step 1 to step 2. What can I do to move from step 1 to step 2? And in this discussion, you've said that in order to move from step 1 to step 2, you need to first be aware that there is a certain ecosystem somewhere, that when you join this ecosystem, you'll be able to develop a certain set of skills And after developing this set of skills, you can then exchange that skill
Skills.
for money or for something.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just money. You can exchange that for a relationship.
Yeah.
Some relationships are more better than even getting some money.
Yeah.
And so you can get this relationship, you can get a credibility, you'll be valuable. And when you combine all these things, it's an asset.
Yeah, we actually have something like social currency, which is the worth of your network. If I mean your network, the people within your circle, people that you can reach out to, the people, so imagine you have, this is for example, imagine you have the president of Ghana within your circle, as somebody that needs your skill or your value or your knowledge. And then there's a typical case in the Bible that I will always say how Joseph, moved from a slave boy from prison to become the prime minister of Egypt. It wasn't just because of anything. It was just because he was useful and valuable. You understand? So it's about learning the skills that are very valuable. But I also ask that, getting started, what kind of skills is in demand? And to be honest with you, let me point the people watching us right now to a very good, simple Google search that anybody can do today upon hearing me speak. Just pick your phone or your laptop or whatever device you use to access the internet and just ask in-demand skills for 2025 and beyond. That will give you a list of skills that are based on research that people are looking for people with those skills. And also, there's a report by the World Economic Forum, about the Future of Job Report 2025. It lists some of the in-demand skills that are done by this organization that is backed by data that shows some of the skills that are in demand 2025, and also it's also going to be in demand up to 2030. And I think LinkedIn also mostly publish such reports like that. So that could be your benchmark. So after you've gotten the list of in-demand skills, ask yourself, which of these skills in this report resonates with me? Which of them actually touches your heart? You feel like, I want to be like this, or I like this, I like the explanation, and I like what this group of people do. Now, immediately you recognize that, the next step is to tell yourself that I want to learn these skills. And the good news is that, look, you don't need to go to the university to go and master these creative skills that we are talking about. There's a guy on YouTube who has shot a whole video teaching you from how to start to the end, who has been doing it for over 20 years. And he has a video on that for free. So all you have to do, if you discover the skill, you jump on YouTube or you go to YouTube and search how to learn skill A. So let me practicalize it. Let's say you look through the in-demand skills, and I know I've read a report. One of the skills that is in demand there is application developers, for example. Right. So application developers or software developers in general is going to be in demand. It's in demand today. It's going to be in demand, for the next 5 to 20 years and even beyond. So if you discover that skill is in demand, you go to YouTube and Google how to become a software developer. And there are websites you can also check. You can go to Coursera, you can go to Skillshare. There's even this free platform just for that skill that I mentioned, Free Code Camp, which is a very popular platform to learn that. And Google. And you get a list of tutorials that will teach you. So once you watch one or two of them, you begin to understand that space. Each video will give you a certain knowledge that you can build upon. What is your last words? What do you want to say finally as we bring this whole session to an end? So what I want to say is that in this digital world that we are in, it calls for so much, and there is so much that is needed by the world. And if you don't position yourself in a way that will be valuable to the world, you will never be counted for. And nobody will ever call for your service. And so you have to learn everything. Learn anything. Fail. Failure is part of success. Without failure, you can't succeed. And so learn and fail.
and build the resilience. I mean, whilst building the resilience power, you can then use that to master your craft. And once you master your craft, you build income, you multiply your income. And so let's focus on building our own self, develop our own self in a way that we will be more valuable to the people closer to us. You will not know that the cocoa seller, the charcoal woman, the small kiosk around the corner will need your service.
Yeah.
If you position yourself well as a youth, as a young man, as a young woman, you are now in school, you've come out of school, you are doing your national service. You may even find yourself in an environment that probably maybe you are working, but you don't feel satisfied.
Yeah, they're not paying you well enough.
You are not paid well enough. I mean, you can't even pay your rent.
Because the national service money is still very small.
Charlie, they say
I don't
5
know.
million.
No, they did increase it. I think it's about 700.
700.
Yeah.
Charlie, this country.
This
700
one
Ghana.
design. What I mean,
One
just
design work.
as a beginner design that you can do one flyer for 700 cedis.
Somebody will say Canva into Ube. Master, can you compare?
Even the
Even
guys
if you
who
master-
understand the Canva,
Well, then utilize
are
it
getting
properly.
paid.
I mean,
because Canva is a full suite
it's a
on
full-
its own.
Yeah, so
Mm,
you
to-
must master a craft,
Yeah.
and then you use that craft to multiply your income
Yeah.
and generate streams of income.
Yeah.
Your life will be very successful, and you can also contribute to their life.
Yeah.
Because we are in this world to have impact.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the day, everything you are trying to do, the money you are trying to accumulate, the work you are trying to do, you have to impact lives.
Okay. Thank you very much, Philip. So far, this has been our conversation on taking advantage of the digital space, fixing your mindset, and getting started on how to leverage this. We have chit-chat about many things, but what we really want you to take out of everything, like this conversation, we just spoke about visual art and stuff like that. If you happen to find yourself in the creative space, or you are interested in the creative space, you're a photographer, you're a graphic designer, you bring something out of nothing, please do not look down upon yourself, because the world today is for you. Some time ago, there was nothing like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, nor even TikTok today. But today, video rules the world, and the people who can storytell and create videos and graphics and what have you are those that controls the world, and those that can develop softwares. So if you're in that space, do not look down upon yourself. First of all, also, if you are not in this space at all, my encouragement to you is to get started by simply getting started by Googling how to get started on this one. So please know that there are many opportunities out there existing on the internet today. If only you stop scrolling and and just exclude yourself from all of this noise, and stop blaming the government and everybody around you, and dedicate yourself 30 minutes a day, 1 hour a day, to just learn something, I believe, and we believe, that you will rise up to change your life and change the life of the people around you. So until we come your way, this has been the Millennium Money Book Podcast. Of course, we will be diving deeper into the kind of skills, the specific skills that we believe that you can get started with the least amount of time and effort that can help you tap into this making money opportunity. So if you're interested in that video, we have linked it somewhere here. You can check it out and watch it.